Come on, brothers, it's time to ride.
Well, another podcast and another guest. Guest for today is Mr. Tommy Roe, longtime friend of mine, guy we play some music with and ride motorcycles with and everything else. Tommy's good to see you, brother. Haven't seen you in a while.
It's great to be here. I've been looking forward to it for a long time.
Good, man. I'm glad you're here. Anything new you want to share with us? Anything going on? You know, how's the world been treating you?
World's been good. Not a whole lot other than practicing guitar and learning more music and just kind of enjoying life.
Well, there ain't nothing wrong with that at all, is there?
Not in the least.
All right. Well, Tommy, I've got, for the podcast, as you may know or may not know, I've got a list of questions. These questions have been pretty much designed to, we want to know who Tommy is. We want to know what your trips around the sun have been all about when it comes to, this industry that we're, talking about. Developed this podcast. It's, in the way of music ground level, all about, all of us folks that kind of walk around in this world and
Sure.
in this industry that we're in. So these questions are just kind of designed to, let's see where you've been. Okay.
Okay.
Well, and so the first thing is how long have you done this, Tommy?
Well, I'm not going to go into age right now, but I was figuring the other day that I've been doing well over 50 years.
Well, okay, I bet you've picked a guitar. You've changed a few guitar strings, then, haven't you?
A few in the lifetime, yeah.
All right. So, but are you still active in it? Something you still doing then, I take it?
I'm still playing, not as much out as much as when I used to, but I'm still working at getting back into it and starting to play more.
Good enough, brother, good enough. So what influenced you to play music or be in, we'll just call it the industry? I know maybe when you was influenced, it wasn't an industry to you, but what brought you to this point right here? What started it all for you?
Merle Haggard and Hank Williams.
I bet they started a few, didn't
they? They did. Yeah, my dad gave me the opportunity. He said once a week he'd go buy me whatever album I wanted, and it was usually a Merle Haggard album or an old Hank Williams. So that's where I started.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for that. Okay. Who do you know? This question is kind of designed around, some of the world travelings you've been. Who do you feel like is really influences or has influenced this music industry? Let's keep it, kind of in the homespun type thing.
Well, I think a lot of Merle, a lot of Willie, and then I've been listening to a lot of Waylon stuff and Hank Jr. So
it's the storytelling part, right?
People that have, not just a story, people that have a down to earth story.
Yeah.
About something you and I could relate to, as opposed to tailgates and ponds and stuff, So the storytellers like Chris Christopherson, people that actually speak to you.
Right. Okay, I'll take that. So, what is your contribution to this music world? What does Tommy do that we can tell people about?
Well, I like singing and everything, but I think I probably add more as far as guitar playing and stuff, because when I was really little, 10, 12 years old, I didn't like TV. I couldn't watch TV, so you'd catch me practicing my guitar. I'd have Buck Owens on the TV, or I'd have something going on. So I'd be practicing and stuff. So that's where I probably contribute more as a musician and thing than really considering myself a vocalist.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, I've heard you sing, and I enjoy your singing. So.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. This is one of those questions, and it's around collaboration. Do you collaborate, or is that something that you're looking to do? And the reason that I ask this question is some people are in the band world. Some people are in the the performing artist person, right? So what do you collaborate?
Well, I haven't, and that's something that I really feel is lacking. I would really like to get into the point where instead of being a one-man band or doing it by myself, I'd like to get into the pack where you got other people's influence, other people's inputs. You've got all this other stuff that you can actually take in and then create something from that.
Okay. I, like I said, that I'll take that too. So I'm going to ask you this question, and it's your call, okay? It's whatever comes to mind or whatever you feel like a story that you want to share with us. But what would you consider either your biggest success or your biggest failure or possibly missed opportunity that you wished would have gone one way or the other? Either way you want to go with it.
Well, I think I had an opportunity a couple of times while I was playing on the road, I had a couple of opportunities to get with some major bands and do some good guitar playing and stuff until they found out I couldn't read music. And in fact, I was talking to Jerry Reed a long time ago, and he wanted me to check into auditioning for his band. And then when he found out that I couldn't read music, he says, "Oh, Haas, you got to be able to read music because we got a lot of stuff that." And at the time, he had a really, Eastbound Down, all that stuff. There was some awesome guitar playing and stuff, so I could see where not being able to read music is, So my stuff's all been by ear and listening, play from the heart. I never been sit there and study some guitar player. I've just basically gone and study the music.
Have you ever heard the story that Red Volkart will tell about? Have you ever seen his story?
No, I haven't heard.
Man can't really well, he may now these days, but back when he was learning, he couldn't read music to save his life. In fact, his teacher had taken and turned the book upside down at some point when Red wasn't looking. And I watched this on videos and stuff, and that's when he learned that. All he's doing is by ear, and there's so many pickers out there that can do that. And to be honest with you, they generally turn out to be some of the better pickers. So that's why I give you credit for what you do, man.
Appreciate that. Appreciate it a lot.
All right, well, good. Hey, how about funniest or saddest story around this music side of things? Which one would you share?
Well, I was. Probably the funniest one, I was working at this club in Grand Island, Nebraska, and I was right in the middle of a Mo Bandy song, Bandy the Rodeo Clown up there singing away, and I looked down at the steel player, and he took his ride, and I looked back up, and just as I looked up, Mo Bandy was standing in the door.
Uh-huh.
And I'm sitting there going, maybe this isn't the best song for me to be doing right now. But
you didn't think there was a little scrutiny going on?
No, he just gave me a thumbs up, and we went on. And but that's probably the funniest thing that ever happened. Is like you just don't expect stuff like that to happen, especially one of his songs as he walks in.
There he is.
Oh man, how did this happen?
That's pretty cool though. That would be a heck of an experience.
Because then you start stuttering, you're thinking, did I say that last word right?
Right. So, this next question, and I'm not looking for a name or a person. I'm not looking for a venue. But what upsets you about being in this business, or this industry that we're in? What bothers you? And this is one of those questions like, oh man, I wish that wasn't like that, or it's not to be mad at somebody. But what upsets you about this business?
I think what upsets me is somebody comes on and comes out and they do a really great country song, and then the next song sounds more like AC/DC or rock and roll. It's like they use that country song to get them on the charts, and then that's probably the last.
Oh yeah,
that's probably the last country song that they ever do, but it got them on the charts, and so
a little bit of manipulation, you think, maybe?
Right, because if it's not country, I saw somebody say it. Singing rock and roll with Texas accent doesn't make it country.
Bless your heart.
Well, that's my deal. When I want to listen to country, I want to listen to country.
Well, there you go. We all, or not all, there's a lot of folks, work through or with organizations, and just for thought provoking. BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, Texas Country Music Associations, different music associations that are out there. And there's different ways that, you can utilize it. Do you work with any organizations of any of those calibers, or
no,
something that you
really haven't done anything where I would really fulfill anything with me with it. Most of my stuff's just been pretty low-keyed,
Okay.
I really haven't had a use or a need for that.
You know, that's not uncommon. You know, it depends on, you know, like where your walk is and what you've, you know, accomplished up to a point or where you're wanting to go, what future plans, you know. And I asked that question about organizations because, you know, like I said, we all kind of have our own walk, and you might learn something from me, or I might learn something from you, or somebody watching this video could learn something. You know, well, man, I didn't even know that, you know, you can get your music on this or that platform or whatever. So,
Yeah, no.
okay, fair enough. How about recording, publishing, agencies, management? Is that something that you're involved with? Have you done any of that?
You know, I haven't done any of it, and just in the past been too busy with like daytime job to be
Right.
really to do or follow it. I've got a lot of people that would love to have me put some record, you know, get some records out and stuff so that they can actually listen to it and things, but just never had the time. But now I'm working the time in.
Well, you know, the reason for the question is, and I actually kind of phrase this around what I call cutting through the fog, because, you know, every aspect of this and those things that I mentioned, the recording, the publishing, the management, you know, the agencies, you know, even the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, you know, all of those people are vendor and or business interactions that you'll perform.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people just don't know where to get started, you know. And I was laughing the other day with Mr. Boucher had come in, John Boucher had come in, and we were laughing about that. And you know, my phrase was, it's like eating the elephant, you know, one bite at a time. But because it's a big thing, and there's a lot to that. You know, if you've never recorded a song, you don't even really know what the aspects of recording are.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I've been in a recording studio, but never as a artist. I've been in a recording studio just as an instrumentalist. So I've kind of gotten an idea how, you know, watching somebody else do it. But, you know, like I said, it's never been something that I've really had the opportunity before, backing other people, but not really doing it for myself.
Okay. Well, next question is, you know, in the world that we live in right now, have you paid much attention to the media or the marketing strategies? Have you kind of seen what's going on out there? What do you think about? I mean, because this is more or less, you know, we've kind of changed from the old style of way of music was done versus what the, you know, indie artists and all this other. And there's so many platforms like Spotify, Amazon, you know, just on and on and on, right? But what do you think about this media management and all of that? Have you given much thought to that?
I think a lot of it's pretty good because it gives a lot of people that normally wouldn't get the opportunity to get their stuff heard or even demoed. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a finished product, but if you go in there and do a good job of recording and stuff, a lot of people want to hear it, whether it sounds like it came from Nashville or came from your home studio. It gives a lot of people a chance.
Pique their interest.
Right. It gives people to say, hey, you know, I never heard of this guy before, but, you know, I saw a clip the other day and he really sounded good.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, let's talk about changes. I know, like you said, some of this stuff is we used to, and then we were, and now we got to do something else. But what do you see about the change, or what do you say about the changes in the industry, and where do you see things going?
The changes I see are bigger and bigger productions. You know, bigger, more lights, more sound, more. So it's kind of nice to sometimes to turn on TV and see a bluegrass thing. All they got is a bunch of acoustic guitars up there. No fancy lights, no big sound system, just vocals and instruments.
Well, you know, I'd have to say I totally agree with that, because I hope I'm right in saying what I'm about to say, and that is that people are starting to hunger for quality of music over, you know, how many flashbangs you can have, or you know, how many thumps of the bass, you know, can rattle your cowboy hat off, you know. But it seems to be that there is a more of a hunger for the, I don't know what we call it, just what we're doing, the hometown, what's really going on in the music. You know, these people that are performing good quality music, and people are seeing the value in that.
The main thing is a lot of people come up to you and they go, And I'm sure that was a really good song, but the music was so loud I really couldn't hear your words.
Wow, yeah.
See, it's like so much music. And then being a single and doing singles and stuff, a lot of my stuff is just nothing but electronic drummer and a guitar
Yeah.
and vocals and
Telling a story.
And people, they still get up and dance to it. But they can actually sit there and listen to the words too.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. I'm glad you brought that up. So what if you had, let's say, you've heard that old thing about, I'm gonna put the king's hat on you. Well, if you had the king's hat for a day, what changes would you make in the music industries or this kind of industry that we're in?
I think I would bring some more of the veterans back into the stuff. The people that have been the Gene Watson, Mark Colley's, all these other people that they're still making good music. Ronnie Dunn's single albums are great.
Huh.
A lot of these people that they've kind of fallen by the wayside because you got so much of the new artists in there that you don't realize some of these Mark Chestnut, some of the rest of them, they got really good songs that are putting out right now, but nobody's paying attention to them.
Huh. I hadn't thought of that, but once again, that's a good response. I appreciate that. So as a performer and or a musician, or what do you do that you feel like really works for you?
I think, well, first of all, I try to relate to the song that I'm doing, and so it's not just me saying some words or me, playing some chords. Actually get into the song, and also, you relate to the people that you're trying to entertain. It's like you're not up there on an island; you're actually there to enjoy the company of other people and stuff. And I think when you do that, then you get way more out of it.
You know what? That's actually the third time I've heard that in these interviews, that people, doing that and actually relating to the people is a very important part of what we do. So, okay, very good, very good. How about if I was to come see Tommy Roe performing tomorrow night or tonight or whatever else? Describe your show and what am I going to see when I come see Tommy play?
Well, you're going to see a lot of different kinds of music. Mostly good country music, good standard, but then also everybody falls back on to the oldies. Some of the old rock and roll stuff, the Jerry Lee Lewis and things like that, and a mix of classic country and new country and stuff, but something that all people can relate to and have fun with.
Okay. So, Tommy, what are your plans for the future?
Well, I think my plans of the future right now is to find as many people that I can play music with that I can.
Okay.
Even if it's just sitting in, be accepted to say with somebody, well, I know this guy, come on up here and do a song with us or something like that. It's to meet a lot of different people, get a lot of different influences, and just kind of progress.
Okay. All right. Let's see, where can we see you next?
Well, I'm going to get the pleasure of working with my buddy, Mr. Hank Flowers, at the Red Brick.
February 16th.
That's right, in Conroe, at the Red
Yes,
Brick
he
in
is.
Conroe, and we're going to try to put out as good a music as we can.
I know one thing, buddy. Having you there, I'm about as tickled as can be to have you, picking a guitar with me.
I was excited. I called everybody now. I said, "Hey, I get to work with Frank. I get to work with Hank." It's like, hey, it's like, so a lot of people already know about it. So they know that you and I are going to be playing music. So
I'm tickled for that. So, but I had to ask you the question because I ask everybody that question.
yeah, well, it's something. Even out here at the Crazy Moon, all the days and stuff that we used to come out here and have those little impromptu jam sessions and good food and everything. It's like it was always fun, and everybody just kind of like fed off of each other and got a little bit better and like progressed a little bit, and it was just a great time.
All right. Well, how can folks find you or contact you if they're needing a guitar picker? I mean, I got your phone numbers. I guess they call me or text me. I'll get you plugged in. But how can folks get a hold of you?
Well, probably the best way is through my email. It's codrifter1955 at Yahoo.
Okay.
and just get a hold of me through there, and I'll respond back to you. And like I said, I enjoy working with a lot of different people, and just kind of, it's still a learning process for me.
All right. And I tell everybody the same thing. This is the most important question that I'm going to ask you. What is your advice to anyone that wants to be in this industry?
Patience. It's got because so many people think, well, I learned how to play guitar and I'm just as good as Brad Paisley, and I learned how to sing and I'm just as good as somebody else and everything. But it's the right time at the right place. And if you're not patient enough to wait for that time, you're going to finally give up on it and just move on. But so it takes a lot of patience to pay your dues.
That's great advice. They're exactly diamonds in what you just said. So I appreciate you saying that. Well, my friend, that's all of the questions that I have. So I want to thank you for being here today, brother. Good to see you again.
I appreciate you calling me. I mean, I've been looking forward to this for a long time.
Well, good luck to you with all your plans in the future. I know you and I are going to probably talk about a little songwriting, some other stuff going ahead too. But I want everybody to understand how blessed they are to have you in their life. I know I feel that way, and I want everybody else to.
Well, and the same with you. Everybody's really blessed to have other people that they can look up to, and people that they can just, if nothing else, talk to.
There you go. That's a good thing. So on every podcast, I leave with a positive, affirmation, and I'm going to do it with this one because I feel like it's very important. And that is that, possibilities are endless. Your thoughts become your reality. And don't worry about the things you can't control. And most of all, God bless you. Now, I don't put in the front of these videos, look for the notification and the bell and the like and all that, because if you've come to this point in this video, I would count you as one of those that's going to try to help us move this thing along. In the other podcasts that I've put out there, everybody understands what this is about. This is about helping out the individual artists, people that are going to sit on the other side of this table. This isn't the Hank Flowers Show. This is the In the Way of Music ground level show podcast. So what we need you to do is, hit the notification so that you'll know when the next one's coming out. Because it's liable to be a friend of yours or an acquaintance or maybe even a relative, who knows. You're going to want to hit the like so that we can utilize what's available to us out there, the algorithms and things that happen by having these type of videos out there so that it becomes more prevalent. But once again, the notifications, the like, and subscribing to all of this is going to help us move this thing along. My intention is we've been talking about frequency of podcasts. Right now, we're hitting this thing. I was going to hit it monthly. But I tell you, this thing, just from my own heart, here's where this thing, I've already seen it starting to blow up. People are wanting to tell their story. People are wanting to come in here on this side of the table. They're wanting people to know, what their walk of life through looks like in this industry. And I'm going to be here to do as much as I can, as many times as I can. So you're going to see possibly more frequent, podcasts up front. It may, slow down. I originally thought this would probably be a monthly thing, but to be honest with you, I don't know if I'll ever see just a monthly podcast. So anyhow, if you're interested in this podcast, leave comments below. You can contact me. I have a Facebook page out there, Hank Flowers. There's also a page for the podcast itself. If you want to contact me on either one of those platforms, and if you want to come in, I'll surely gladly sign you up, get you across the table from over here, and we'll listen to your story too, because everybody has bits and pieces. As I have said before, there's a lot of familiarity. Tommy and I have walked through certain things, and some of the other guests that have been here, we've walked through certain things that they kind of sound the same, but they're not. And this man has just said some things in here that I know people will take away from. The other guests have said things that people will take from it. And if nothing else happens, that every one of these episodes, somebody can pull a diamond out of that. Well, that's what we want you to have, that diamond, okay? But you got to help us get there. So the games. Y'all know how to do this. Share as much as you can and tell people what's going on. So that's this podcast for now, and I'm sure we'll see you on the next one. We've got some I won't throw any names out there right now, but I got some pretty good ones coming in. So Y'all stay tuned on the podcast, and we thank you for being here. Y'all be safe, all right?